Welcome to Whispers of the Web, where the hidden gems of the web come to life. Join us as we unravel the most fascinating tales, secrets, and discussions from across the web. Every whisper has a story. If you enjoy our journey through the whispers of the web, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the intrigue. Story number 1. Am I the a-hole for saying I'd rather divorce my husband than neglect my niece again? Before I start, I want to mention that there is no CPS in my country and parents are allowed to treat their kids however they like, so don't tell me to call CPS. My niece, 14, lives in a very abusive household. Whenever things get bad, she calls me to get her out of there. 2 nights ago, my husband and I were making love when she called me again. I answered the phone, but before she could say anything, my husband said, very loudly, that my niece could hear, "I'm so freaking tired of dealing with your family. Why can't we have one damn night to ourselves?" and asked me to hang up the phone. I told my niece that I had to go and asked her if it's anything serious. Otherwise it can wait till morning. She said never mind and hung up the phone. Next day I went to my brother's house, niece's dad, just to find out that he had kicked her out and she had nowhere to go last night. So she spent the night outside the house in the cold weather and got sick. She was burning in fever, so we took her to a hospital. I asked her if she is okay and she told me to just leave because it's clear that I don't freaking care and my husband is more important than her. I told her I'm sorry and that I'd rather divorce my husband than neglect her again. Now my husband is furious, but I meant what I said. I can't ever let him make me neglect her again. He thinks I'm an a-hole and should prioritize our relationship. Your post really resonated with me. First and foremost, you are not the a-hole here. Your husband is, and so is your niece's dad. I find it incredibly admirable that you are committed to being there for your niece. Having come from a family where abuse was present, and not having anyone to intervene, I deeply understand the significance of your support in her life. It's a beacon of hope and safety in a world that can sometimes be overwhelmingly dark for her. I'm sorry about the situation you're in. Balancing the needs of your marriage with the urgent and serious needs of your niece is not easy. Your willingness to stand up for her, especially in an environment where there are no formal protections like CPS, speaks volumes about your character and the depth of your empathy. Your husband's frustration, while understandable in the context of wanting time for your relationship, doesn't seem to fully grasp the gravity of the situation your niece is in. It's crucial that he understands the impact his words and actions have, not just on your niece, but on your ability to provide a safe haven for her. In situations of abuse, especially involving a child, the immediacy and severity of the need should indeed surpass other concerns. You should have an honest conversation with your husband about the values and commitments you both hold and how you can navigate this situation together. Your stance to protect your niece is not just noble, it's essential. It's clear that you're making difficult choices out of love and a sense of responsibility. Whatever path you choose, remember that your support could very well be the lifeline your niece needs in these critical moments of her life. If your husband does not view your niece's situation in the same light, then it may be time to reevaluate the future of your marriage. Story number 2. I am willing to give my wife everything she is asking for in divorce. Am I the a-hole? My wife and I are having issues. She is a stay-at-home mom and I work to provide financially. I work a high-stress job and it's very mentally draining and I am not able to contribute that much in housework and childcare. It has been a constant struggle for the past year where she is complaining that she feels like a single mother and she has all the mental burden. I tried to help, but it was never enough. In a fight, she said that she will be better off without me, that she would do better with child support and alimony, and will not have to care about me. It hurt me very bad and I just lost the will to fight. I just became disengaged. I dread going back to my house after work and my workplace is not a pleasant place. We had a fight on New Year's Eve and I told her that I am letting her go. I agree with her, she will be better off without me. I asked her for divorce. She got mad and gave me the silent treatment for 2 days. Then she asked me for full custody of the kids and I agreed. Then she asked me for the house and I agreed, since the kids need that big house anyways. She asked me to keep the kids on my insurance and of course I agreed. She said she wants me to move out and I told her I would soon. I have been looking for a shared house as I really do not want to live in an empty apartment. For some reason she became mad at me for agreeing with what she wants. Started picking a fight about how I didn't change the oil in her car when I promised to. I did. I forgot to tell her with all the things going on. I didn't have the energy to argue, so I spaced out for a bit. Now she keeps on crying. What more does she want me to do? I am willing to give her everything she wants. That's all I can do. Am I the a-hole? I don't believe that divorce is necessarily the solution here. It seems like your wife doesn't want you to give up on your relationship. She wants you back. The person you were before the burnout and depression from your job took over your life. The fact that your job is so mentally draining that you can't enjoy your life or be there for your family in the ways you need to be is a significant concern. A less stressful and demanding job could allow you to regain your mental health and energy, making it possible for you to be more present at home. This could improve not only your personal well-being but also your relationship with your wife and children. You should absolutely seek out counseling too. It's not just about managing the stress and depression but also about finding ways to communicate better with your wife and understanding each other's needs and frustrations. It seems like you're close to giving up on your family, but doing so might lead to a downward spiral. You should consider that your wife's frustrations are a call for help and a desire for a more engaged partnership, rather than a wish for separation. I'm sure you love your family and your wife. Depression and burnout can really make us self-destructive. I know therapy is still stigmatized, but help truly is a sign of strength, not weakness. Taking these steps might lead to a much more positive outcome for you, your wife, and your children. Story number 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that he needs to do his own thing because I don't want him involved with my business? 30 female. I opened up my own business in January of last year. I was bedridden, tough pregnancy, and had zero income, and I wanted to do something, so I got into resale. My husband at the time told me I was wasting my time and that it was nothing but a pipe dream and that I was wasting money. It actually caused a lot of fights in the beginning, but I stuck it out because I believed in myself and didn't really give myself the ability to fail. My kids even joined in with me. 3 kids from my previous marriage plus a now 4-month-old with my husband. But yeah, so he didn't believe in me at all basically. He just saw me as wasting money. Now, we have separate bank accounts, and all of my product is kept in an indoor storage unit, so my husband has never seen my product or known how much money I've brought it. I've been paying my portion of the bills and not giving any hints on what I've been doing. I honestly, as childish as it may be, wanted to wait until I had a bucket load of profit and then show him. That way he felt bad for all those fights he picked with me over wasting money. But anyways, since I started the business, I have a profit so far of $34,000. I've only lost out so far on maybe $5,000 worth of product. Considering I started with a measly $500, I'm very impressed and proud of myself. I promote mainly on TikTok and have my own business account on there. Well, my husband found the business account on TikTok and saw I had a following of around 400,000. Almost. He started asking questions and eventually it got to him asking how much I've made. Well, I went over the numbers with him and now he's super interested in what I'm doing and tries coming with me and the kids on the weekends to do inventory and shipments. Now I'm willing to admit that I'm just getting touched out by his presence within my business. Because now he's trying to get me to buy things that he likes, not what the general consumer does. He's trying to change the way I do things by offering suggestions on what would be easier. He's always right in the way, and he's just stressing me out. And now, he's saying that he wants to join in and basically use my TikTok account to promote the things he buys, which he wants me to do because he hates being on camera. I feel bad because I know it would be a way for us to connect over something profitable, but I just don't want to. My kids and I started from scratch and he picked massive fights with me over this, but now that he sees I'm making money, he wants to use what I built without him so he can make money off of it. So I told him he needs to do his own thing. Start from scratch like I did. Learn like I did. Because I don't want him involved in what me and my kids built. Especially not after picking all those fights with me and making me feel stupid, without an apology up until I mentioned it to him either. He says I'm blowing this out of proportion and that he just wants to be involved and says he won't apologize for having his doubts and says I should understand. But now that I've proven him wrong, I should be willing to cut him in on it because it can be a family thing. I just don't want him to. This is me and my kids' thing and I don't want him taking over at all or have any say on how we do things, which I know will happen. Edit to add, it was my money that started the business, and only my money that went into it. He didn't help at all. Let me just say that you are a total boss mama for starting and successfully running your own business. It's incredibly impressive that you turned a $500 investment into a $34,000 profit, all while managing a tough pregnancy and caring for your children. Your determination and belief in yourself are truly inspiring. In my opinion, you are absolutely right in not wanting your husband to be involved in your business. I firmly believe that couples should generally avoid going into business together. I speak from personal experience, as I went into business with my husband for 5 years too. While it was okay for a while, I eventually left to start my own venture, and I've been much happier since making that decision. My husband also started his own business, and we're both doing better now that we have our separate professional paths. Your husband's initial lack of faith in your business and the conflicts that arose from it are significant. Now that he sees the success you've achieved, his sudden interest and desire to be involved seem more about the profits than a genuine desire to support your passion. It's especially telling that he hasn't apologized for his earlier doubts and is now pushing to integrate his ideas into your business. Maintaining your autonomy in your business is crucial, not just for the success of the venture, but for your personal empowerment and the dynamic you have with your children in this endeavor. You and your kids built this from the ground up, and it's a testament to your hard work and vision. Allowing your dismissive husband to come in and potentially change the direction of what you've created would likely undermine what makes your business special and successful. You're doing the right thing by encouraging him to start his own thing if he's interested in entrepreneurship. Keep trusting your instincts and doing what's best for you and your kids. What you've built is yours, and you have every right to protect it and run it the way you see fit. Story number 4. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to be intimate with my boyfriend because I discovered he doesn't really intend to marry me after 15 years? Advice needed. I'm 33 female, in a relationship with my boyfriend, 38 male, for 15 years. We were engaged 8 years ago, but no further plans were made. When I mentioned it, he always found a reason why we had to wait. It was not a good time, we had no money, etc. I never asked for any expensive wedding. I offered to elope or go to the courthouse. He declined, said he wanted a proper wedding because that's what I had mentioned I originally wanted. The engagement ring he bought me was $20 because we were poor at the time, but when it broke I never got a replacement. We now spend on average $100 a month just on takeout or going out. For comparison, a couple months ago he said he wanted to get me something expensive for $1,500 but didn't have the money. I immediately knew, so I pressured him to tell me what it is because he never has bought me anything more than $100. He said it was a ring. I said if he really wanted, he could have easily saved a ridiculous $10 a month for the past 8 years and get me a good enough ring because I'm supposed to wear it forever, and why the F would he mention it if he can't get it? Makes no sense. A few weeks ago he mentioned wanting to save for a car to replace his old one. I got furious and we had a serious talk. I asked about his real plans and to stop with the BS and be a man. After much pressure he said he didn't think marriage is important. I asked, "Why did you get engaged then?" He said he wanted to. I told him he makes no sense, and to think, if his sister had a boyfriend for that long acting the same way, what would he think about it? He said nothing. I said you have a month to think and decide, then I'm leaving. Then he said, "No, you're not leaving, we'll get married soon. But we need to insert couple of things to be done or paid first." So I've been cold as ice since that talk. I'm not arguing or acting mad, but I'm a roommate, not a girlfriend. I'm barely kissing him once a day, no sex, no intimacy. It hurts me because I love him, I feel lonely. But I don't want to act like everything is okay and ignore the elephant in the room. I feel hurt and rejected. So now I'm rejecting him as well. He complained a few times, asked why I'm doing this. He genuinely doesn't get why I treat him like this. So am I the a-hole? Edit. More info. We live in his own house. I do own property of my own that I rent out. No debt. We have savings for emergencies. So not rich, not poor either. No, I do not want to marry him just to cheat and divorce and get half of it, as someone suggested. I do make more than he does, so I do not need his money. No, he doesn't cheat. I never asked for an expensive ring. He was the one to mention it in the first place. Could be a $100 ring, but no, he mentioned $1,500, and then proceeded to tell me he couldn't get it in the same sentence. I'd respect anyone who clearly says marriage is not for them. That's honest. My issue is when a man asks a woman to marry him, says multiple times he wants to marry, then states marriage is not important. And yes, he wants to have kids with me, even without being married, and has mentioned it multiple times. But I was clear from early on that I would not have kids until I'm married. That's my personal preference, and he was aware and agreed. He could have said no. I'm not using lack of sex to force or blackmail him to marry me. It's just how I feel at the moment, so I'm acting based on these feelings. Not the a-hole at all. It's clear you've been incredibly patient and understanding in your relationship. After 15 years together and 8 years since your engagement, it's genuinely shocking that your boyfriend still doesn't seem committed to marrying you. You've had numerous discussions about it, and yet there's been no concrete action on his part. I can understand your frustration and why you're questioning the relationship at this point. In my view, it doesn't seem likely that he's going to commit to marriage. If he was genuinely interested in marrying you, he would have found a way to make it happen by now, especially given the length of your relationship and your willingness to keep things simple and low cost. It's concerning that he keeps finding excuses and delaying the marriage, despite knowing how important it is to you. You're not in the wrong for feeling hurt and rejected. It's a natural response to a situation where your needs and expectations are consistently overlooked. Your decision to be less intimate is understandable given the emotional state you're in. It's not about using intimacy as a tool to get what you want. It's about you not feeling emotionally connected enough to be intimate, which is a valid feeling. I think it might be time for you to seriously consider moving on. This doesn't mean you haven't tried or that you don't love him. It means you're recognizing your worth and your needs. You deserve to be with someone who not only loves you but also respects your desires and commitments, especially when it comes to something as significant as marriage and future plans. You've given this relationship a fair chance, and now it might be time to think about what's best for you in the long term. Story number 5. Am I the a-hole for telling my neighbor I won't let their kid play in my backyard after they destroyed my garden? Advice needed. Hey Reddit, need your wisdom on a neighborly dispute. Recently, my neighbor's kid was playing in my backyard without permission and ended up destroying my prized garden. Trampled flowers, broken ornaments, the whole 9 yards. I confronted the parents about it, expecting an apology and maybe an offer to help fix the damage. Instead, they brushed it off, saying kids will be kids, and I should be more understanding. Feeling frustrated, I told them that their child is no longer welcome in my backyard. Now they're upset, calling me unreasonable and claiming I'm overreacting. Am I the a-hole for setting boundaries and standing up for my property? Or should I have been more forgiving? Ready for your judgments. You are definitely not being an a-hole in this situation. It's reasonable to expect that your property, especially something you've put time and effort into like your garden, be respected by others. The fact that your neighbor's child destroyed your garden is unfortunate, but what's even more concerning is the parent's response. Brushing it off with a kids will be kids attitude and not offering to help fix the damage or ensure it doesn't happen again is disrespectful on their part. Your backyard is your property, and you have every right to decide who can and cannot use it. It's important to maintain those boundaries, especially when they've been disregarded in such a damaging way. It's disappointing that they're not taking this opportunity to teach their child about respect for others' property and the consequences of their actions. You're not obligated to be more forgiving, especially when the other party isn't showing remorse or a willingness to make amends. Your actions are about protecting your property and ensuring your hard work is not destroyed. Don't let their entitled attitude make you second-guess your decision. You're in the right here. Thank you for joining us for today's journey through the whispers of the web. Share your thoughts and suggestions for our next adventure. If you're not yet a part of our whispering community, click the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications to never miss out on another story. Join us next time as we uncover another enthralling tale from the web. Until our next whisper.